Hello people of, oh my voice nearly went then. Hello people of YouTube. Today I wanted to do an absolute beginner's guide to crochet. So what we'll learn is about hooks, how we know what hook to use with our yarn, how to do a chain, a single crochet and a double crochet. Now I use American terminology just because that's what I started learning, and then I realised there was English and American terminology, but I kind of find that American terminology is used more. Maybe that's just me, but so the first thing I wanted to show you was if you were to pick up a pattern, what you'd see on a pattern, because you will see it abbreviated. So here I have written down, so this is what we're going to be learning today: chain, single crochet, double crochet. So you can find patterns on the internet that are written, and the word for chain will be abbreviated to CH usually. The word for slips, single crochet will be abbreviated to SC, and the word for double crochet will be abbreviated to DC. Now if you see a diagram rather than a written pattern, it'll look like a picture made up of little symbols. So a chain will be a little circle, and here we've got a chain 3 because you've got 3 little circles. A single crochet will look like a cross or an X, so it'll look like either of those, and a double crochet will look like a little T with a line through it. So this is what you'd expect to find on a crochet pattern if you were looking for one. So, crocheting hooks. You can get these off the internet super cheap, and they come in a variety of sizes, and they all should have the size written down the side of them when you buy them. So for example, this one is a 9mm hook. Some of them have gauges written on, but I prefer to use the millimeters because it makes more sense to me. So if you choose a yarn that you want to crochet with, given that it's still got the label on, you should find that it's on the back somewhere. It's got a picture of like some knit needles and some little hooks, and it'll have a number by. So this one is 4 to 5. So that means you need to use a 4mm or a 5mm hook, or you could use a 4.5mm hook, I guess. So that's how you find out what hook you want to use. Unless you're getting artistic and you want to use an absolutely massive crochet hook and have some really gappy looking stuff going on there. So yeah, that's how you find out what hook you need to use. Also useful things to have: scissors or shears just to snip bits, always useful to have handy so you're not looking for those. And a big old chunky needle, because at the end when you finish your piece you'll have like a little flaily bit of a tail end of yarn that needs tucking in, and we just use one of these to tuck those in. But we might not use that today, but it's just useful to know things that you might need. So for the sake of this video, I am going to be using the world's biggest yarn ever, which I think is rug making yarn, to be honest. Just so you can see what I'm doing, it's really big, really chunky, and you can see it easy on the camera. So to start off with, you're going to want to make a little slip knot to get your hook into. So for that, you're just going to make a loop like this, and then you're going to pull the tail end partly through that loop, just to make a little loop on in your yarn, and that should slide up and down on there. That's what we do, is we thread our hook through the loop and tighten it on. This is actually a 14mm hook. So then you're on your hook, and that's nice and easy. You should have a little tail end, and an end that's attached to your ball of yarn. So from here you're going to start your chains. So usually 9 times out of 10 when you start any crocheting project, you start with a row of chains and you sort of work into those chains. So let's imagine, for example, you're making a scarf and you want your scarf this wide. You'd make a row of chains this wide and you'd work along that to get the length. So I guess a scarf is a really good place to start. Or if you want to make a handkerchief or something, I guess you could start with a row of chains. So when you've got your yarn on the hook, what you want to do is you want to yarn over. So I hold my hook and yarn really weirdly. You'll see people hold theirs differently. I kind of hold mine like I'm holding knitting needles. It works, I don't have any problem with it, but you will find a way that feels good when you hold your hooks and yarn. So what I do to yarn over and create my chains is I bring the hook towards me over the top of the yarn and then under the yarn, so then it then catches on the hook, and then you pull it through your loop on the hook. So then the loop that was on the hook is now off the hook and your new bit is on the hook. So you go again. You bring the hook towards you and then under the tail of yarn so that the yarn is on the hook, and then you pull it through the loop that's on the hook, and then you've chained 2. So keep going. Bring the hook towards you over the yarn, under the yarn, pull through. 3 chains. Over the yarn, under the yarn, pull through. So just keep going. You can pause the video here if you want and you can have a go at making some of those. So if you do want to make a scarf, for example, you want to make this as wide as you want your scarf. I think the scarf, I mean, it's not really scarf weather at the moment, it's nearly summer, but you know, it's best to be prepared. If you live in the UK, for example, you are likely to get a snowstorm at any given moment. So if you've paused the video, well done, and you've got a row of chains, fantastic. We're going to work into those now with some single crochets. So when we do a single crochet, we're going to go back along this with some stitches that are quite a little bit bigger than the chains. So when we go back on ourselves, what we want to do, and when we do a single crochet, is you want to miss this first loop here, this first chain. If you go into that, it's kind of going to look a little bit strange. So when you do single crochets, you miss the first loop unless told otherwise. So we don't want to go in this one here, we want to go in this next one here. So we go into it on the side that's facing you. You grab the tail end of yarn, pull it over the hook and pull it through. Then you're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Again, you're going to yarn over, so you're going to put the hook towards you over the yarn, back under the yarn and pull through all 2 loops on the hook, and then you have your first single crochet. So we'll do that one more time. So now you're going to go straight into the next loop. So this one here, right next door to your single crochet. So you put the hook into the front and through that loop. You yarn over, so your hook goes away from you under, and then you're going to pull that loop through the chain. So you've got 2 on the hook again, yarn over that, pull through all 2 on the hook. So you can see where this is going. So let's do that one more time. So we're going to make another single crochet in this next chain space. So yarn over first, so hook comes towards you and back over the tail, under the tail, so then you've got a little bit of tail on the hook. Oh no, sorry, I was nearly doing a double crochet then, got ahead of myself. Single crochet first. The first thing you want to do is go through the loop first, so go through the chain space first, then we want to yarn over, so hook goes away from you, under the tail, and then you pull it through the chain. 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 2. And you can see here already we're starting to get like a little bit of fabric forming. Looks real good. So if you want to, you can pause the video here and have a go at that. I'm going to carry on to the end, and you can have a little practice, see how you get on. Have a little practice with, so it can be a little awkward at first when you first learn to hold the hooks and the yarn, and you feel a bit like, wow, I've got my hands full and it's all a bit crazy, but you'll get used to it. I mean, the first time I ever learned to crochet, I actually whittled my own hook out of a cherry tree branch. Yeah, so that was really awkward to use. Yeah, that was really, really awkward to use, but it worked and I got there in the end. Good, so if you have had a go and you have got all the way to the very last stitch, well done. So I'll just show you how to turn around. So once you've got to the end of all your chains with single crochets, you're going to want to go back on yourself again. So to do this, you're going to chain 1. So we did chains in the beginning, nice and easy. All you're going to do is yarn over. So hook comes over the tail, under the tail, and you draw up a loop. Nice, easy. So from there, you're going to turn your work over because you want to be working back towards the left. So again, you're going to miss this first one at the base, and you're going to go into this next space here. So you can see at the base of this chain you've just made, there's a little hole. You don't want to go into that one, you want to go into the one next door. So you're going to bring the hook towards you into the front of your work, go all the way through. So there's going to be 2, you're going to see 2 little, there's like a V shape here, this V shape here. So you're going to go through both of those. You're going to yarn over and you're going to draw up a loop. Again, you've got 2 on the hook, just like before. Yarn over, pull through all 2. Easy. And then you go back the same way. And you just keep repeating that until you've got an entire scarf. So I'll just do that one more time just so you can see. Good. So, once more, going back on ourselves to make the next row. So we're going to chain 1. So yarn over, draw up a little loop. That's your chain 1. You flip your work over, you skip the little hole at the base of your chain, and you go into the next one. There's a little V shape at the top, but you want to go in through the front, through both of those little bits of yarn that form the V shape, yarn over, draw up a loop through those, so you've got 2 on the hook, yarn over, and draw through both those loops, and that's your single crochet once more. So again, you're going to go all the way to the end, and when you do get to the end, just make sure you do get the very, very last stitch, otherwise you'll end up decreasing in stitches as you go along. So it's worth counting how many chains you do, and then how many single crochets you do, and you should have the same amount of single crochets all the way to the very end of your, let's say you're doing a scarf. So if you had 10 here, you want to double check you've got 10 on the next row, double check you've got 10 on the next row, otherwise your scarf will start to funnel off, or it'll get wider. Good. So let's say now we're going to make double crochet. So double crochet is slightly wider again. So if you are making a scarf and you don't want to be sat there for a month of Sundays crocheting away, because single crochets are tiny, you're going to want to make a slightly wider stitch. So what you can hear there is my dog coughing because he has asthma. Good. Nice. You alright, Bust? Lie down, boy. Good. So let's say you're starting from the beginning here. Before we chained 1. So if you're going to start doing double crochets, you're going to want to chain 2 to begin with. So just chain 2, because that acts as your first double crochet, basically. It acts as your first double crochet. well, obviously you couldn't do a double crochet in there because there's nothing to go by. So we're going to flip our work over once we've once we've chained 2. Once again, we miss this base stitch here and we go straight into the next stitch, just as we did before. But before we put our needle straight in, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, then put the needle in. Draw up a loop, and this time you have 3 loops on the hook. So what we're going to do here is we're going to yarn over the hook, we're going to pull through 2 loops, and now we have only 2 loops left on the hook. We yarn over and we pull through 2 loops again until there's no more loops on the hook. So you can see here already how this row is single crochet and now this row is double crochet. You can see how it's slightly thicker, slightly wider, and it would take you less time to sort of crochet a meter in length, I guess. So it'd take you half the time, so you'd hope. So if you want to carry on in double crochets, what you're going to want to do is yarn over the hook, put your hook into the next space along, draw up the yarn from behind, free on the hook, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, and then draw through the next 2 on the hook. There you go, it's looking good so far. So let's do that one more time. So we're going for a double crochet here. So it's yarn over, put your hook through the next stitch, yarn over that, draw up the loop, you've got 3 on the hook, 1, 2, 3, yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over again, pull through 2. There we go, nice and easy. Good, so you can pause the video here and have a go at doing those, or maybe you just want to stick with the single crochets for now and work on mastering that. Or if you've already got those and you think that you're confident at that, give the double crochets a go. So just to recap before we disappear, let's do a single crochet again. So we're going to go into this loop here. Single crochet is through, yarn over, draw up, 2 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Double crochet, you yarn over first, then go into your work, yarn over, draw up a loop, you have 3 on the hook, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. So single crochet, I guess I remember it in the fact that you have 2 on the hook and you pull through those once. And a double crochet, you have 3 on the hook and you pull through twice, so that would be a double. That's just how I remember it. And then when you get more advanced and you start doing like triples and things like that, you know, you'd pull through 3 times and you get a double triple and you'd pull through 4 times, and that's how I remember it. So you should have now mastered the art of, I'm going to undo all this. That's a good thing about crochet as well. If you get it wrong, you can just frog it. This is what we call frogging, because it's frog, 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 frog. You can just undo it super easy. So you should now have mastered the art of making your little slip knot. You should have mastered the art of making a chain. You should have mastered the art of making a single crochet. And you should have mastered the art of making a double crochet. Good. And just while we're here, just because we can, when you want to finish your work, all you're going to do is make a chain. So chain 1, yarn over, chain 1, take your scissors, snip and pull through, and then it's not going to go anywhere, and then you're done. So with this bit you'd get your needle and you'd thread that all into the ends, just to make it disappear basically. And that is the absolute basics on how to crochet. Hopefully in the future I will show you how to crochet a project, a small project. But for now, just get used to using a hook, doing the basic stitches, and then tell me how you found it, whether it was easy to follow or not, and I will come back at you with a nice easy project to make. So you can find me on Instagram as boho on the go, so that's BOHO_ON_THE_GO, boho on the go. If you've liked this video, leave a comment, subscribe. All feedback is greatly received. I will see you soon. Thank you for watching.